Alright, in this video we're going to show you how to install a TST Industries integrated taillight on a 2009 to 2012 Yamaha R1. Alright, step one will be to take your seats off. Go ahead and take off the passenger seat with the key, and then use an Allen wrench to unscrew the front driver's seat out of the frame. Cut. Okay, so for the next step, you're going to remove the upper part of the tail fairing. For this step, you're going to need to remove these fasteners, this screw fastener right here, and also a fastener on this side and on the other side of the bike in the same location. So let's go ahead and do that. These body fasteners here come out by a quarter turn with a Phillips screwdriver, and just lift them right out. Body fasteners underneath, you will press in the center and that frees them to come out. Do that to the other side. And now the top portion of the tail fairing should be free to come off. You pull it towards the rear. You're looking to undo the slide snaps right here. As you pull the top fairing to the back, this releases the snaps, and then it enables you to spread the fairing in this part right here and lift it off. We'll also need to take off the seat release cable, just like this. Take the cable out and set it aside. Alright, so that now the next step, now that you have the top portion of the tail off, will be to loosen the bottom portion of the tail enough to be able to extract the tail light. Okay, we need to get to these screws right here. If you have any sort of equipment like your fender eliminator or the stock fender underneath the bike, you will need to take all the screws out of it to enable this whole portion to be free. On this particular bike, the fender has been taken off, so that's been done for us. Now we're able to move it. An additional step before we go ahead and move it out will be to take these two body fasteners off. So to do that, that's done with a Phillips screwdriver, quarter turn out, and lift off. Now this portion of the tail is free to be manipulated and moved around. You will need to undo this the main taillight plug. Push the retaining clip in and pull out the plug. And now you will need to unscrew the taillight screws. Two of these, Phillips head, one on each side. Now, depending on what sort of exhaust you have on your bike, it may be necessary to drop the exhaust a little bit, just because with some exhausts they sit closer to the tail, and that will prevent you from having this range of motion in the bottom part of the tail. So you will need to unscrew these two bolts and drop down the exhaust a little bit to have this range of motion. Okay, now that we have the taillight free, we will need to remove it from the tail. It has a clip here that you need to undo and get it up over that and pull it out towards the back. Okay, Now we're ready to put our TST Industries integrated taillight into this bike. Now we're going to prep the TST Industries taillight for assembly onto the bike. For that we will need to take off the rubber retainer of the OEM light, and also this retaining bracket right here, 2 Phillips screws. And we've already taken off the protective film of our new tail light. I'm going to apply the OEM components for assembly. Same way that they were assembled onto the OEM light. Alright, now we're ready to assemble this part back into your bike. This will plug right into your main light harness, and these 2 plugs will plug into your signal harness plugs. And right, in this following step we're going to replace the new light on the bike. And get it back in position for these 2 screw bosses here on either side, and also lift up the rubber retainer and get this rear clip, get the tab on the light in the rear clip like that. Make sure everything's aligned before you start screwing in the screws. And now replace the taillight bracket screws. One on each side. Okay, now we can thread all the cables properly. Do the keeper right here in the undertail, in the tray. Now you can plug it into the main harness. Your signal plugs. Plug in the signals. Once you're done plugging in the signals, give them a quick test, power up the bike. Make sure your signals are plugged in on the correct side. We ended up reversing our signals, so I'm going to quickly unplug them and plug them back in properly. Now we're flashing on the correct side, nice and bright, and we're ready to reassemble everything in the reverse order of disassembly. And once you do that, you're good to go, you're ready to ride.